ESPN's Eric Woodard reports the Lions expect a two-headed monster at running back with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Barry, everything out of Detroit's camp seems like Montgomery is going to get a sizable amount of touches running downhill, and we know how much the Lions love Gibbs as a pass catcher.
They really do. We've seen all the video. They're excited that they got him at running back. They got him at 12 overall. Like to pick a running back. Right. And they were thrilled. So I think Gibbs is going to be a huge part of their offense. I love Gibbs. I will tell you this. Gibbs was on the short list for my fantasy ride or die. Obviously, I ultimately went with his teammate, Amon-Ra St. Brown, but Jahmyr Gibbs was on my short list of somebody that so like if I was going to do it positionally, like he'd be my running back ride or die. Having said that, I will tell you, when I was out at Football Night in America, we did the preseason game at the Hall of Fame. I was talking with Jason Garrett. Now, Jason Garrett was in Detroit. I think you saw a clip of it. If you watch Football Night in America, you saw a clip of Jason talk with Dan Campbell. They had an interview. You'll see more of that. Obviously, we opened the season in Kansas City, Lions versus the Chiefs. That is the first game of the year right here on NBC and Peacock. I'm a company man. But my point of telling you all this is that Jason Garrett went to Lions camp as part of as part of what we're doing to broadcast the Lions-Chiefs game in the opening game of the season. And he told me, we're just talking, he goes, they love David Montgomery there. They love him. They think he's like, a true power runner. They can do what they like. So again, if the easy kind of lazy comparison is, Gibbs is going to be DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery is going to be Jamal Williams. And I think that's kind of lazy and easy, and I think it's more nuanced than that. I think they'll use Gibbs more, and they'll be more creative with Gibbs in a way that they weren't with Swift. They kind of had to keep Swift in bubble wrap. But I also think it's not 100% inaccurate either. I do think David Montgomery's getting 200 touches, and I think he's going to get some high-value ones as well. I do think I have Gibbs higher than Montgomery because of the passing game usage, because I think he's just a more dynamic player. I think he's a better NFL player at this point. We haven't seen him on the field, but I think he's just a better football player than David Montgomery. But make no mistake, David Montgomery's going to have a good year. He's going to have a very good fantasy year.
Potent offense. Smart offensive coordinator. They can throw the ball so well between the 20s, they get the opportunity to run inside the red.
And by the way, sneakily, one of the best offensive lines in football.
Absolutely.
They can block. And so Dave Montgomery's a guy who never gets hurt. 12 of like last year, a little bit banged up, but literally of his 15 healthy games last year, he got over 15 touches in 12 of them. Again, for a terrible Browns season. All 4 years Bears. How many Bees team can I name? All right, sorry. English is my second language. Look, the fact of the matter is that for the Chicago Bears, over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, over 230 touches, all 4 seasons that Montgomery has played in Chicago. You sign him to be a workhorse,
right?
And that's what he's going to be. I think they'll sprinkle in Gibbs. Again, I prefer Gibbs to Montgomery, but I don't mind having both those guys on my team.
And the Lions finally feel like a team that should be playing with some leads.
Yes.
Turn around. Hand the ball to David Montgomery. Have him help you close out games. Over in Tampa Bay, staying with running back news, Jenna Lane from ESPN expects Chase Edmonds to open the season as the Bucs' third down back. Barry, we've talked on this show about Rachaad White. Can he be a star? Can he be the guy? But Chase Edmonds obviously carving out a role with the Bucs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We'll see.
Sure. Maybe. Here's what's weird to me. On Chase Edmonds. He was good for a minute. He was good in Arizona. But then it didn't work out in Miami, and it didn't work out in Denver. Now, Denver the whole season last year was lost. But okay. So he's on his 4th team in what, a year and a half? Something like that? Is it 2 years? He's a tweener. He's going to be the third down back. Well, what else is he going to do?
Right.
What else? Obviously, what else is he going to do? He's the third down back, or he's going to be bench, I suppose. But okay, I didn't rank him.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out with Chase Edmonds. Slow news day. Do what you want.
Right.
I think there is a. Here's what I'll say. I'll give you a take on Chase Edmonds. You want to take out? I'm trying to think. I'm sitting here trying to think of a freaking take on Chase Edmonds. Here's a take on Chase Edmonds. Here's a Chase. I believe there is a better chance. I'm willing to go on this. I believe there is a better chance. I'm sitting here, camera one. I believe there is a better chance that Rachaad White develops a significant third down role than Chase Edmonds being fantasy relevant this year. Like if Rachaad White, I'm not wishing this at all, but if we suddenly found out like next week Rachaad White was going down had some sort of injury or was going to miss a significant amount of time this year, like, yeah, I think they would hustle out and sign one of those free agent veterans and Keyshawn Vaughn. By the way, I'll say this. I say Keyshawn Vaughn has more fantasy value this year at the end of the year than Chase Edmonds. I don't even like Keyshawn Vaughn. You know who else doesn't like Keyshawn Vaughn? The Buccaneers.
Yeah, they clearly don't. They haven't for quite some time.
I just been there, done that with Chase Edmonds. For whatever reason, like he had a kind of a moment with Arizona, and that's it. It sort of feels like it's not going to be a good team. They want to run the ball. Todd Bowles wants to play good defense and run the ball and protect, whether it's Baker or Kyle Trask. We think it's going to be Baker. I don't think it's going to be an explosive offense. I think they're going to be one of the lower teams in pace of play this season. I don't mind investing in the Bucs offense, but Godwin, Evans, Rachaad White. To me, that's sort of
right.
That. And then I'm a Vegas dealer. This is me. I'm out. I'm out on Chase Edmonds. I don't think anyone else is in, but whatever.
No. I'm more intrigued by UDFA Sean Tucker from Syracuse.
Thank you.
Who, before he got hurt last year, was probably going in the first 3 rounds.
I was going to say he was going to be a third rounder.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm a Syracuse guy. Go Orange, class of 92, go Cuse. I'm old. But whatever. Like, Sean, I've watched a lot of Syracuse football.
He's good.
Sean Tucker's good.
He's going to be better than Chase Edmonds at some point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love that take, too. Yes. Yeah, give me some Sean Tucker over Chase Edmonds. Like, I'd take Chase Edmonds over you as a running back, but
that's fair.
That's about it.
I would too.
And me. I would take Chase Edmonds over me as a running back. Yes, exactly. For the record, you can use promo code CHASE for 7% off.
Chase 7.
Yeah, Chase 7 at NBCSports.com/draft guide. Connor 5 if you only want 5% off. If you want 7% off, you can use Chase 7 or ultimately Barry 20 if you want a 20% off. Again, it just depends on how much you want to pay.
We do have people that track this, so throw me a Connor 5 every once in a while,
yeah,
just so I could sell a couple magazines. That
magazine
I actually wrote for too.
Yeah.
Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said running back Devon Achane is dealing with a leg injury where he is day to day. Obviously, a crowded Dolphins backfield here. You have Raheem Mostert, who, if you've heard him speak, he sounds very excited for another big year.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson is there. They're still connected very loosely to Dalvin Cook, and of course they used a pretty high pick on Devon Achane, an explosive speed threat that I know you were a fan of in college as well, Barry, but dealing with a minor injury here.
Yeah, until I know that it's more anything than that, I'm not worried about it. But again, over the last 3 years, Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. have combined to miss 38 games. 38 games. Devon Achane is one of my favorite players coming out of college. I've watched a lot of Devon Achane. He's a tough kid. I know everyone talks about him as a speed guy, but again, you watch him in the SEC. He goes between the tackles. He is tough to bring down. I believe he can ultimately be a workhorse. Again, but I think he profiles better than some people who think of him as just a speed guy. I think he is more than that. I think he plays bigger than his size, kind of thing.
With you. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's my favorite of the Dolphins running backs. I think they'll all have value at some point this year, and I think you'll see McDaniel mix and match and play the matchups. But he's my running back 40. His ADP is running back 48, so I'm significantly higher than him than the consensus ranks. And yeah, give me some Devon Achane. I'll say this: at some point I have to get off my butt and write love hate, my preseason love hate. When it comes out, Devon Achane will be in the others receiving votes section of my love hate.
Best part is you can write it sitting down. You actually don't have to get up.
Yeah, it's true. I probably will. I probably will write it sitting down.
Over in Tennessee, head coach Mike Vrabel said tight end Chig Okonkwo's blocking has to improve. If there's anything you need to know about Mike Vrabel and tight ends, this is something he deeply cares about. I have heard about FaceTime, Zooms, and meetings during the pre-draft process. He will rip into tight ends about blocking. Chig, a bit of a late fantasy darling last season because of his athleticism. Is this something that kind of scares you, where you think he could eat into his reps, or just coach speak?
I think it's sending a message to my guy Chig Okonkwo. But I will say that, like, I'm much more concerned about DeAndre Hopkins than I am about his lack of blocking. That's Vrabel sending a message, and Chig will get there, and he'll work on that. He'll be fine. He'll get there. I mean, he played a lot as a rookie last year. But I will say I'm more concerned about DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, so now it's just like, we know it's still going to be a run-first offense, right? It's still going to revolve around Derrick Henry. But with Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins, like, at best, and obviously you've got Derrick Henry, so, like, at best, Chig Okonkwo is the fourth offensive option on that team. And so when they signed Hopkins, and I love Chig Okonkwo, but when they signed DeAndre Hopkins, I moved him down to tight end 16. He's actually going as tight end 13, so I'm weirdly lower on consensus. I'm concerned about target share. Again, he played last year. He was somebody that didn't play on. He played on a decent amount of snaps as a rookie, but still, less than 40% of offensive snaps last year. And it's worth noting that in the past 5 seasons, a third Tennessee pass catcher has seen over 60 targets only once. Once in the past 5 seasons. Again, if we assume Hopkins is going to get his and Burks is going to get his, he's a tight end 2 he's a tight end 2 that you need a touchdown when you start him.
In an offense that a little shaky right now. Yes, it's exciting they got Hopkins, but
I think I'm okay on the offense, but I think it's going to be, I think they're going to be middle of the pack toward they're going to be somewhere. They may play at a higher pace of play now that they've got Hopkins, and they're going to open up a little bit more, but they generally speaking are one of the slower paced teams in the NFL because they're so grinded out with Derrick Henry. And so you've got, a couple less possessions per game. I think the offense is fine. I'm just worried about the fantasy production from that offense. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.